Okay, awesome. All right, so we are super excited today to have our upline and Double Diamond Jenn Hawkins with us. Jenn is also like on the advisory board, and she's a one plexus winner, and so she's all things amazing. And so we are super excited to have a question and answer session with her today. But would you mind just like telling us how you got started with plexus? Because I know there's some new people on here that may not have ever heard how you got started with plexus.
Yeah, of course. I'd be happy to. I celebrated my 6-year anniversary in May of this year. So just celebrated 6 years. And when I saw plexus come across my Facebook newsfeed, I was not interested in the business whatsoever. I was interested in the products, just trying to lose a little bit of baby weight. Even though I wasn't interested in the business, I was actually looking for something I could do to supplement our family's income from home. But I don't know, maybe like many of you, you've always kind of held this industry at an arm's length, and that's what I had always done. So this was not going to be the answer to me being a stay-at-home mom. But I started sharing, and my husband said, hey, if you're going to make enough, if you're going to take these products long-term, you at least have to make enough to break even. So I was like, yeah. I'll cross that bridge whenever I get there. Well, 3 weeks in, I knew I had to start sharing because I knew I loved the products, and started sharing a little bit. My first full month's paycheck came in July of 2012. And my husband and I both knew that this actually was going to be it. That this was going to be the way that I become a stay-at-home mom. I didn't really set out like to go be a double diamond. I set out to make $1,000 a month. That's what my husband and I had agreed that we could make it work because we had one baby. We wanted to have more babies, daycare costs, all that. We could make it work if I could supplement $1,000 a month. So that was what I was in for. And so I say this, I've said this, I think in my Diamond documentary, but I would still be delighted in this business if it was just $1,000 a month and I was staying home with my babies. The Lord had much bigger plans for me and my journey, and for what plexus was going to do for our family and for our community, and impact that and start that ripple effect. So incredibly grateful that he had a bigger plan than we had. But I love that about plexus, that, you know, we get to offer something that changes people's lives, that gives them their life back. And, you know, I don't know how many levels deep you are to me, but, you know, I shared with Celeste, and Celeste shared with Beth, and Beth shared with Ariel, and so on and so forth. And we are all links in this great chain of so many life-changing testimonies. So I'm just happy to be a link to thousands of stories, and that's just so amazing. So I think that is probably it in a nutshell.
Awesome. Well, we are thankful that you did share with Celeste and crew. I feel like, you know, how everything got started, we really didn't even know what was going on, and several people had ordered from you and didn't even know, you know, really what. So anyways, what a crazy adventure it's been, right? I don't think any of us knew at all or had any idea what this journey was going to bring. But, you know, like you said, we're forever thankful and grateful. And thank you for starting that. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get started with the questions that we have. Guys, if y'all have questions, you can put them in the chat. And if we can get to them, we will. But, you know, we also want to respect everybody's time. So our first question is, what is your best advice or tips for all the silver ambassadors out there?
Okay, so if you're a silver ambassador and you're listening to this call, I'm just going to go ahead and make the assumption that you want to go gold, that you're not in for some like praying for your products kind of money, and you want to go gold and beyond. So I think that gold, first of all, gold, let me tell you, is a rank that I believe is one of the hardest ranks to achieve. And it's because it feels like, and oftentimes it is, you do it all on your own. Jessica Heffley, she says, and I love her analogy, she said, going gold is like trying to keep 20 frogs in a bucket at once, and they keep popping out. And I think that's what it feels like going gold. That's what it felt like for me as well. So let me just tell you that for most people, it isn't easy, and it is going to take some work, but it's not complicated. And so I'll kind of give you a few things that I think are important for you to really hone in on at this rank as you're looking to go gold and beyond. One is that in not complicating things, we can get caught up into like all these books I have to read and all these videos I have to watch and all this product knowledge I have to know. And not that any of that is bad, but it's very much wash, rinse, and repeat. Share, follow up, and close the deal. Share, follow up, close the deal. Share just over and over and over again. At this point in your business, it is 100% a numbers game. And that will bring me to another thing that I think is really important for you to know as a silver, all the way through really, but in the beginning is that no's are just they're part of the game. It's part of it. And we cannot let those get us down and it like, hey, it's just, I got another no. I'm one more closer to yes. And that no isn't no forever. They don't have enough information. It's not the right timing for them, but I'm going to keep on. I'm not going to let that no derail me from what my goal is. And that is at the most immediately to get 20 frogs to stay in the bucket at once. So it's that, just really keeping it simple. Do your IPA. And then the other piece is, as you are getting these people in the bucket to come in, is providing them really great customer service. So if you're getting someone signed on, they're a customer, they're a wholesale ambassador, maybe they're an ambassador that have expressed interest in the business or want to make some extra money. No matter where they are, we have to help them get great results on their products. We have to help them fall in love with Plexus products. If nothing else happens, but we help them with their regimen, troubleshooted, encourage them to drink their water, and they're loving their products. At a minimum, they're going to stay in the bucket for their products. They may not go add more frogs to your bucket, but they at least are going to stay in the Plexus bucket, taking their products. So that's the first goal. If they're not going to be committed to their products, they're not staying in the bucket, and they're definitely not adding any other frogs to your bucket. So that's the other piece. The share, follow up, IPA, and then when you get them in and you close the deal, then it's about helping them fall in love with Plexus products if they haven't already. Because sometimes we convert customers who are like, okay, yeah, I'm spending $200 a month. I might as well come in at wholesale and maybe try to make some extra money. So they're already in, but that's super important. The other piece is getting them connected to your community. Community is going to be what is going to help them say, I want to stay in this bucket. I like this bucket. I feel supported. I feel encouraged. I feel loved here in this bucket. And when you get them connected where they feel that support, maybe that is through a customer testimonial page or a testimonial page that, you can add customers to, or a customer support page rather. Maybe it's your team page where there's motivation and testimonies and belief building and just where they feel like, hey, I'm not alone. Like, I'm doing this together and I'm making a difference with people who also believe in these products. So I will tell you, when I first started, I said it was about 6 years ago, we didn't have YouTube videos. Like I looked for them. And I think the first YouTube video I ever watched was Sarah Marble doing an opportunity meeting with her dad. And that was all that I found out there. So you could have YouTube training videos. You could watch them for an entire week and always have new ones. Okay. There's so much out there, but we didn't have that back then. So what my sponsor did that actually helped me see the vision of what was possible for me, because I saw other people doing it, was in Jennifer Poole's Plexus team page. And that's what it was called, Jennifer Poole's Plexus team page. I mean, nothing fancy. We didn't have graphics. Nobody was doing rank promotion graphics back then. And it wasn't like it has come so far. That team page was where we had questions. You did get, it was just congratulations on going silver, enjoy your bonus, or gold or whatever. And I was like, wow, this is really there's a lot of people doing this. And if they can do it, I can do it too. And that's where I really kind of caught the vision that this $500, 460 something to be closer exact in July of 2012 that I made, I was like, this could be $1,000 a month for me was that paycheck and being exposed to Jennifer Poole's Plexus team page. So being in that community is super important. That was a really long way to tell you, get them connected. And the last thing, and I think this is super important. So the first thing I said was your IPA, get into that habit of consistently sharing, following up, closing the deal, and not letting those no's get you down. And that's going to actually bring me to my third thing. But the second thing was get people connected right away. Help them fall in love with Plexus products, no matter why they're coming in the door or how they're coming in the door. And the third is to be building belief for yourself, and then helping your people build their belief. Because when we're going for no's and we're getting all these no's, it's if you didn't have belief that what you had to offer was a gift, that it could change people's lives, that everybody needed something we had to offer and this could really help them. If you didn't believe all of that, then all the no's, you're on your way out the door too. I mean, if you didn't really believe that what you're sharing, and you just keep telling people, no, yeah, that's not for me. Yeah, no, someone told me that stuff didn't work, or they said it didn't taste good. I'm not interested. I'm not going to do that. Then enough knows, if you didn't really believe what you had, you would be gone too. So you have to be building your belief by, I think just reading testimonies, watching the videos, attending Plexus events when you have, when we have them, convention, leaders retreat, Super Saturday, opportunity meetings, any event that you can physically make be there. So super important to just keep exposing yourself to the power of Plexus, and then bring in your team and your people to that exposure. Help them become exposed so they can build their belief. I love how Sarah Marble says, and I don't know where I can't remember where she got it. She says, hope brings people in. What they hope Plexus is going to do for them. But belief is what's going to keep them there. Belief is what's going to keep them in the bucket. So if we are creating this bucket of belief and community and support and encouragement, and more people are falling in love with Plexus products, it's going to be a lot easier to keep them, your people, your frogs in the bucket. So that is, and I think that's the most important things, I think, for a silver, but I think it's equally important beyond silver or beyond gold. It's important all the way up. But I see so many new people and silvers just trying to learn products and blah, 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 blah. Like, no, keep it simple. Just share, follow up, take care of your people, and you build belief and help them build belief. I said that in like 2 sentences instead of like 10 minutes. So.
But it's so true. And I look back to when we all first started, for goodness sakes, honestly, I only thought there was still an accelerator. You know what I mean? We didn't even know, there wasn't all this stuff. And so I feel like sometimes it does hold people back because they do feel like they have to know everything, when I'm like, just share the products. I mean, I remember, and I say it all the time, my first customer was our neighbor, and I literally was signing up, and he was like, what are y'all doing? I was like, I have no idea. We're drinking some pink drink that's supposed to help me lose weight. That's all I knew about Plexus, period. It could have been pink antifreeze for all I knew. I had no clue. And he was like, okay, well, I'll try it with you. And I was like, all right, whatever. I didn't know. I had no idea what was in it. I still can't pronounce half the words in it, but I do know what it does now, obviously. But so many people get stuck on having to know everything when it's just sharing. And so much of it is the relationship. So I love that. Okay, so the next question is, what is your best tip for anyone working the business full time? And I think that looks different for a lot of people, but I'm sure that there are some of the same things still you need to do, because I know, like, I was working the business full time, but I had a million jobs at the beginning. Some people were staying home with kids, at the very, and working full time. So what is your best tip for anyone wanting to work the business full time?
Yeah. Well, so full time, like, I love what Alex says, do not work more than 40 hours a week. Like, don't ever do that. There's nothing attractive about working your plexus business 60 hours a week. You know what I mean? Like, but so when I say like full time, like, I work plexus full time, that's my full time gig. I do not work 40 hours a week. Now they're like month end, pushing for contests, in the trenches with my team, I might pull a 40-hour work week. But typically, I don't work like that. And so it's full time. It's your only gig, maybe. And maybe it's what you are aiming for or wanting, or your goal is to be your primary source of income. It's your thing. Okay. So it's setting your goals, what you're going to do, and then having your IPA execution. And I say execution versus plan, because we can have an IPA plan and it doesn't actually align with the execution of that IPA. So your IPA execution has to match what your goal is. So I could work plexus full time. Say, okay, I can put in 30 hours a week working my plexus business, and I want to. I'm gold right now, and I want to be emerald by July 31st, 2019. Okay, that's it's a realistic, but could be fairly lofty goal. I don't know, just depending on what kind of team members you have now, do you have any momentum, all of these things. But I have to think, what is the IP? What IP do I actually have to do to reach this goal? And if I have this much time to do it, I can do that. So if you're working the business full time, figure out where you want to go, and then set your plan and execute the plan. And if you are not reaching your goal, you got to look, am I executing? Am I putting in the work that I need to do to reach the goal? I have 25 hours to work, a week to work the business, but 20 of those weeks I watch YouTube videos, and I get on team calls, and I read a book, and I go have lunch with my girlfriend who is on my team, but, we don't really talk about plexus. What is your time? You know what I mean? So you have to have a plan that is going to execute to reach your goals. But like I said before, and Alex said this, don't work more than 40 hours a week. I know people that are working, like, I'm like, do you do anything else? And it's so unattractive. I'm like, if I were an outsider looking in, I wouldn't want what you were doing. So be careful, for those of you who are working at full time, to have some balance in your life and show that balance. And so your attraction marketing, so people can see that you're creating your own schedule, that hey, this week, you're only going to work 10 hours a week because you're going to take a really long weekend and have an anniversary weekend with your spouse. Show those kind of things as well. Let's see. I think it's just fresh in my mind, and maybe some of yours too, but coming off of August, which was the end of a contest period, I had so many team members in crazy BHAG IPA stuff. I mean, they were like going for it. Like, I'm like in it, like zone, going after it. And I had them say, you know what? That IPA stuff really does work. And I'm like, yes, it does. And so I don't know if you guys were shared, and I haven't even shared it with my team yet, but it's something I want to do, that Jill Renfro video. And she's like, where have you been? because I've got my team members that they busted their butts in the last week or two of the contest because they're like, I can actually hit this goal. If they had been half busting their butts the entire contest period, they could have maybe even exceeded that goal. Like you work for a shopping spree or for a private reception or for a spa treatment, but you won't work for your paycheck for a residual income. Like, what is your why? And work for that, you know? Then you can go on your own shopping spree. You know what I mean? So I love that video of Jill's. I see Beth nodding. It sounds like she may have shared it. If she didn't, then she can share that with you. But so if you were working,
Alicia on here too, we're like amen, and you like to all of this, like amen, amen.
Yeah, I see Alicia. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like work half that hard consistently, and where will you be in a year? Where will you be in a year? Like my team members who worked that hard for the last 2 weeks of August, I am not saying that I do not want her to work that hard all the time. I want her to work half that hard. Even a third that hard would get her crazy places if she just did it consistently. So I don't even know if that answers your question.
I think it's great. I think what it boils down to, regardless of what you are, if you're working another job, if you don't have another job, if this is all you do, what it boils down to is you have to do your IPA consistently. And I mean, if you're doing it consistently, and yeah, it was amazing to watch that last month, to see people who, you know, hit things that they never thought they could hit, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can do this. Yes, you can. IPA. Yeah. IPA. So, okay, awesome. Okay, so the next question is, if your current self could go back in time and give advice to Jenn Hawkins 5 years ago, what would it be? If you could go back and do something over, what would you change?
Well, I know advice that I would give myself. Again, I say it was a different world. You know, I signed up actually not liking this industry, honestly. Kind of like I obviously didn't know anything about it. IPA was like a beer in Colorado to me. I mean, that's what IPA was to me when I joined. I didn't know any of it. I didn't know anything about making a list. So the advice I would have give as soon as I decided I want to make $1,000 a month, I would have said, go find yourself some training. Like go read a book, go to a conference if you have to. Like I said, we didn't have the YouTube, we didn't have the resources available to us. Maybe even read your success guide. I don't know. like try. I just fumbled my way through it, and I think I could have maybe not even so much for myself, but here I was bringing people in, not even really knowing what to do with them, not how to help them. I was just figuring it out along the way. And I thought, okay, if I would have sought out some mentorship through maybe a book or something, then I could have then helped my team be more successful maybe earlier on. It's hard for me to answer this question because I had a pretty awesome journey. I mean, I got to Diamond in 14 months. You know, like it's hard to say that there's a whole lot, but there's a lot of stuff I would have learned. And I think I could have maybe, it could have even been better, but then by even saying that, I feel like I'm even complaining for the way that it was. And I'm not, you know, like I'm thankful, but, you know,
I think it's cool to see where we were back then and how we've grown in so many different areas, but it is our journey. And so I don't think like going back, like you have to change anything. I mean, it's really cool to see. I mean, I know Alicia and Ariel always joke like, I'm so sorry I was a terrible leader back then because I didn't know. You know, we've all learned so much together and learned so much about ourselves. And, you know, you talking about belief, just learning to believe in the products and the company, like we had to, like, I know personally, I had to learn to believe in myself. Like, I never believed I was a leader or believed I could speak in front of people, or, if you told me I was going to even be doing this, I would have been like, whatever, I'm going to hide under a table. And so, like, just looking back at the growth of the past, I mean, 5.5 and 6 for you, it's pretty cool to watch. And so I don't personally think I would ever want to change anything, because it took whatever, it is our story for sure. Yeah. It's been a blessing.
Well, I think there's got to be, because there's so many sources out there for you now. We had none then. I think there's got to be a happy medium where you don't let yourself get bogged down by all the resources and kind of the analysis paralysis, and just use it, be thankful for it. But like, just jump in and do the work, because that's what we did. We just jumped in and did the work and figured it out along the way. So I'm thankful for all the resources now. It's amazing, but you can't let it slow you down in a way as well.
It's sometimes hard for me too. Like, I have a gal coming over to train right after this, and I'm like, gosh, okay, how exactly do I train her? Because we did just do it. And to me, that's like simple. And I'm like, just tell people, I mean, now we do have so many, like, our success kit is amazing. And anyways, but that is, just do it, right? I mean, just get in there and do it. So, okay. Here's another question. And this one is a little bit hard maybe. What mistakes have you made in plexus, and how have you learned from it?
One of the glaring mistakes that I made, couple of them, and I don't even know if this will even resonate with any of you, but we had my mom actually found one, and she sent a picture of it to me. I wish I had one. It'd be awesome. But we had this like newspaper. Okay. I don't know, like, and you open it up, had some testimonials, corporate, but it read like a newspaper. It was the consistency of a newspaper, and it folded up into like this size, right? Well, I'm investing in my business, and I bought 100 and I don't know, a bunch of them. And I got my sisters, they're like 12, 13 at the time. My brother, my mom, and we are door to door putting these on doors. Like, we spent an entire day distributing these newspapers. Not one person came from all of that time, which, had I been doing it by myself, it would have taken me a really long time to distribute all of those newspapers. But it took a good half a day, because we started in the morning, finished at lunch, and I treated my family to lunch for helping me do this. And there were 4 of us, not one call. So if I did that all by myself, that would have been like 12 hours maybe that would have taken me to distribute all of those. What kind of work what kind of production would have come from 12 hours of IPA? Would I have gotten one person? I would have gotten a ton of people. Had I used that time, instead of trying to do something simple or flyer, I mean, no, that doesn't work. None of that works. Now, those pieces could be used differently for a meeting or something, but walking around a neighborhood, no. Putting them on cars, no. So that was one mistake that glares at me, and I'm like, I cannot believe I did that. And I cannot believe I didn't know enough to say, use this time messaging people, calling people, asking your friend who you think would be really great at this to coffee. Like, it's just ridiculous. Another mistake that I made was, I don't know if anyone here is in Colorado, but I started doing meetings, and the first meeting I ever went to was a meeting that I did. And it was, for probably the first 6 months, my meetings were how not to have meetings, like what not to do at an opportunity meeting. It was horrible. It was all facts and figures and ingredients, and like, it was all bad. But I did it, and it was me getting in, failing. This doesn't work. Okay, that didn't work. To find what did work. And meetings became really effective in Colorado when we were having them in Colorado. But it didn't happen straight away. I mean, I would tell you, if I had a video of it, I would say, all meetings are great, but don't do it this way. Like it was bad. So those are the two biggest mistakes that I can think of. And it was just by failing. I mean, like, that didn't work. That doesn't work. And then tweaking
you learn through that. That's the coolest thing. That just goes back to, you've learned so much and what to do. And, what I've really learned is this is about people and relationships, right? And stories. So, okay, this one's easier. I gave you a couple hard too. What's your favorite personal development growth book?
I probably have two that kind of stick out in my head the most is Daring Greatly, Brene Brown. I had not really ever connected and really thought about the whole vulnerability thing, and vulnerability leads to connection. And I mean, gosh, Beth, you've been saying it. This is a relationship business, and it's all about connection. So Daring Greatly, and then another one that I found has been really helpful to me is, and it's actually, I don't have the hard copy. I have it on audio, and I've listened to it still. I probably listened to it a dozen times. It's like a 3-hour audio, John Maxwell's 25 Ways to Win with People. It's similar to How to Win Friends and Influence People, but I love this one because it's so simple and tangible. And the 25 ways, I'm sure there's tons of crossover in those other books. But it's just easy. It's really easy to read I listen to it, and I'm like, every time I learn something new, I'm like, wow, that's so, yeah, duh. I'm like, duh, of course. Why wouldn't I do that? But I don't do that. And just things like that it really opened my eyes in how to also connect with people and have influence with them. And that's been a really effective book for me that I've gone back to throughout probably the last 3 or 4 years.
Awesome. Perfect. And that's super important too. And I will say, I'm not a reader. Like, I'm a terrible example to my children as readers, but every time that I do that's another way I've grown. Like, I've just finished a book and I'm reading another book, and it really is a great way to grow yourself and your business too, but like, it's growing yourself and putting, and making you think about things and how you treat people, how you connect with people, how you, just in life in general, but in your business. And so I like to always challenge people to start, like, if you're not a reader, I started my favorite one because it was super easy to read is, the four color personalities, and then another one's a 4-year career, because it's simple, but it's so powerful and makes you believe in network marketing. And so, but when you have to start from not reading to nothing, those are easy books. So anyways, okay. This kind of goes back, because you talked about meetings. Share with us how important meetings are to the success of your business. How often should we be doing them in person and online meetings?
Okay. Well, the first part of the question is how important meetings are to the success of your business. I feel like I have seen a shift away from meetings, and I think there's been almost a direct result in teams not growing as fast. And I don't know, there's probably other factors, but for some reason, there's been a major shift away from doing in-person meetings. And National Sip and See Day, I had one at my house, and it was really effective. And I was reminded, taken back to once I finally got the right meeting format figured out, and that was through help with my peers, nothing by my own accord. But in Colorado, when we started having them in the right format and they were effective, they made a huge difference. And so I had the sip and see in August, and when I first moved to Nashville, I had one meeting, and I didn't have them anymore because I paid $1,800 for the space. It seated 70 people, about 30 people showed up, and about 2 guests. And I was like, I can't, locations were an issue. So I just stopped. I didn't do any meetings until the sip and see, and I had it at my house. And I see someone's asking what the format is. It's been definitely an evolution of format, but my format kind of now, what I did at the sip and see, Alicia was there for just a little bit of it. She got to pop in. But people, for the most part, do not want to hear statistics and information. It's the stories that are going to tell the story of plexus. So very much story driven. I did pull up my TV because I had one testimony on video, but other than that, I didn't have a presentation. And that's how I did that one. It was very casual. Not a business opportunity, business kind of presentation. And I think that those can be effective too, but I'm loving this format of just tell the stories. Let people feel comfortable. Let people feel comfortable asking questions, and then let them know how do you get involved? Like, how do you do this? So that's kind of the format that I'm doing now, or did at Sip and See. And I did that format online for an online event, and kind of short. Another, and this is the total opposite of the way I started out doing meetings, which was all information and like an hour and 20 minutes long. And people are like glazed over. When is this going to be over? Will she notice if I walk out the door? So I see another question down here. Let's see. Do you tell the plexus story too, or only people stories? A couple sentences. I don't think or play the plexus journey video. I think that tells the plexus story pretty well in just a few minutes. It can be effective. But it just depends on the setting. Like this one at my house happened to be very casual and just very much storytelling. But if you have it at a library or a rec center, and you have a screen and you could play the plexus journeys video, and that would maybe fit that setting a little bit more. But I say all that to say, I know I got to get back to doing meetings. Like I got to figure it out. I got to find the location that's not going to be $1,800, and we got to do them. And so when it comes to frequency, I'm going to start with quarterly, because quarterly is better than nothing for in-person meetings, right? But my hope is that I won't be the only one doing my local meetings. Like, and wherever you are, don't wait on your upline to do a meeting. Like, they can help you with the format. They can even help you if you want a PowerPoint to get the right slides. But stories are what sell. If you can get a few great testimonies in the room and how to be a part of Plexus, then just share from your hearts and keep it fairly short and let people taste the pink drink, have a few drawings, make it fun. But I noticed in Colorado, in the Denver area, basically, if I didn't do them, nobody did them. Everyone just waited for Jenn Hawkins, the local diamond, to do the meeting. That was a lot of pressure on me. And so I did it for a long time. But I noticed when I moved from Denver to Tennessee, I have these local leaders stepping up and doing the meetings, and they're fantastic meetings, and they're still really effective, and it's really helping them grow and connect and even just pull together as a community. Even if no guests show up, it helps them move forward together as one in that local community. So I think that's I just want to encourage you that it doesn't have to be your diamond upline to do a meeting. do it. Like my first meeting I ever did, I did it wrong. You don't have to do it wrong. You can have the resources to do a meeting in the right way, in an effective way. But I was silver when I started doing meetings. And so, Alicia was, okay. Yeah. Sarah Marvel still has her every Monday night. Every Monday night they meet at the same restaurant. And if there are guests, I think they will share stories. If not, it's just kind of a team gathering. What are we struggling with? What ideas do you have? How can we help each other? And they're just great community functions. And I think that those, for her and that team and her local team, that really works for her. And so for some of you who have a handful of people in your small town, get together at your local Panera in the back room or at a back table and invite your guests and have it be just really simple and casual. It doesn't need to be big. But I think online events are great too. And I think actually that the increase in online events and the ease of them is why live events sort of took a dive. But I think that we've got to get live events back and do online events, still like once a month and keep them both going, because there are people that don't have someone doing a meeting, and the online events are really effective. You can watch your PJs, they can be recorded. So I think both are important. But the frequency is going to just have to be, I wish there was a one size fits all answer, but I think, monthly or every other month is kind of a good place to start.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, Scott and I have been talking about that just recently. At the end of summer, we started talking about how it is interesting to see and like, I love to travel. We both have teams all over lots of us have teams all over, but like, I definitely can see a correlation between when I'm out there doing meetings and when I'm not, and the growth of the team and when I'm not. It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with getting people together. So many people are like, well, I never have potentials. That's okay, because even like on National Sippency Day, it was so fun. We had 2 guests here, and I think we had like 20 something people here, but just seeing everybody's excitement build back up. And all we did, we're with you. We're just straight up doing testimonies. Now at our meetings, we're not doing information business. They can taste it, but it's straight up testimonies, because the stories are what people want to hear for sure. But you can see the excitement and people wanting to share plexus again when they're just hearing those stories. Even ambassadors, it's building that belief again, and it's making people become a part of something again. And I think they're absolutely huge, just like you. So okay, do you want to, we have 2 more questions, so let's get to those, and then if there's others in there, will that work? Is that okay? What does your daily IPA look like? And what did it look like when you first started out in the business? I'm reading.
Yeah, I typically don't like this question, because what my IPA looks like now is totally unrelatable to most of you. I mean, maybe even Beth and Alicia and Ariel. I am not in a build my business stage anymore. Doesn't mean that I'm not bringing people in. I am not out there really recruiting. And the reason why is, to start, the core is I'm very protective of my why. And that is, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. And as big as my team is, it's such a blessing, as big as my team is, and then some corporate responsibilities that I have, if I were out there recruiting like I had to do in the beginning to get here, the people I would bring in the door, they would suffer. My family would suffer. My current team who still needs me would suffer. And so I'm very strategic about who I basically have a small list of people that I'm working. And I hope that I get two or 3, I think will jump off the fence this month. But I've been working on them for 8-9 months. I mean, it hasn't been overnight. And then whenever I get those kind of handful kind of in, or they're going to be like, no, never mind, I don't want to do it, then I'm going to work on finding the next new people that I'm going to be like sewing into. I can't do lists of hundreds anymore. It's just not, my bandwidth isn't there. So it's not real relatable, but I would say that like, a couple days a week, I'm working those people, and I've always got people that I'm wanting to be in the wings, that I'm going to be nurturing that and helping them. So that's why I don't like the question, because no one should do what I said, because you're in building mode. You're still building your businesses, building to diamond, building beyond diamond, reentries, all of those things. And I still do it, but I do it very differently because of my bandwidth, and I'm super still protective of, I'm still a stay-at-home mom. And if I work crazy because I'm recruiting like crazy, I just defeat my why. So, but I didn't get to this point doing that. I got to this point in the beginning by, and I said, I like, when I first joined, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know I needed to make a list. I started figuring that out. But one thing I knew in the beginning, and I worked downtown Denver full-time, and my baby was 1. And so I'd get her to bed and I would work for like 2 hours every night. And I was following up like a mad woman, and I was providing really great customer service to the people I had already brought in. And that was primarily what I was doing with that time. And Plexus was a very different place and company then. And as I transitioned out of that, I'm like, oh, I need to be actually like really seeking out and going after these people that I want on my team. Then I was definitely more proactive about going after them. And you guys I probably was diamond before I even heard the word IPA. We didn't know what it was. I was doing it, but we didn't know. I mean, Alicia, do you remember when you first heard the word IPA? I mean, I don't remember when I first heard about it, but I'm pretty sure I was a jewel at least. But I was still doing the work. You know what I mean? So I don't remember a formula that I went through. 5 a day, 5 reach outs, 5 follow-ups. I don't remember any of that. I just had a big long list. I had this is my planner, which I just can't live without, but I had a separate calendar that I put in all my customers and my people when I knew their auto ships were gone. And I was all over providing really great customer service to them. So follow up, customer service. And then whenever I realized I need to make a list and I need to start going after these people, then I was doing that. I can't even tell you what it looked like, because it was a little bit of a blur.
Yeah. And I think everybody's IPA, depending on what stage of life you're in, or what your day looks like, or like, again, like if you're full-time working, or if you have littles, or if you have, it's all so different. You just share plexus and follow.
I worked on my lunch break a lot, I mean, in those nooks and crannies. Yeah.
And people sometimes say, don't say that, but say that, because I literally remember being at baseball fields, because it was the only time you there at practice, and I was trying to follow up with people, and I joke every once in a while, I might have even done it at a red light, which I totally don't condone doing that. But it was just, you did what you had to do. And so, even if your life looks crazy and you don't have time, you do have time. It doesn't mean you have to sit in front of a computer for 2 hours every single day. It means do it on your work break if you can. Do it, 15 minutes before you go to bed. Stay up 15 minutes later. Get up 15 minutes earlier, So, but that question people ask that question a lot. And I think that question is a hard question, because everybody's in a different phase of their life. So everybody's or a different journey that are on your IPA is going to look different. Share plexus and follow up. That's what it boils down to, I think. So, okay, one more. And then there are a couple on the chat. How do you handle potential customers that have rejected plexus? We all have them. We all have them that have said no, and we have lots of them that have said yes later. So how do you do that?
Mm-hmm. Well, when you're coming from a place of, man, plexus is amazing, and this is a gift, and when you come from that posture, there's this tiny part of you that's like, I feel sorry for you. Like, I'm not like there's this whole like thing in my head that's like, I'm not sharing because I need a customer. I'm not sharing because I need one more person. I'm sharing because this could be a blessing to you. You don't see that yet. I feel sorry for you. So there's this little moment in my mind, and then I'm like, okay, it's not no forever, and I move on. I think, okay, the next person, plexus could be an answer to prayer for them, and I'm sharing for the people that are going to say yes, not for the people that are going to say no. And if 9 people tell me no before I get a yes, but that yes is someone who their lives was changed, their life was given back to them through the plexus products, I don't even remember the no's. I mean, like, literally, I'm like, I can't even tell you who the no's were that had me, I don't know if I can do this, I better keep going. No, I don't even know. They're like, unless some of them came back and said, oh yeah, you told me no for a whole year, then I remember you. But it's just, I don't even like think about them. And then I also kind of think too, like, when people are like, I don't know, it's kind of expensive, and I'm like, well, you know what? If you are ready to commit and really give these products a solid 60 to 90 days, let's do this. But if you're not, maybe this isn't for you. And you like retrieve it. You like take it back. You're like, I had this something very valuable. And if you're hemming and I don't know, then you know what? Maybe this isn't for you. And when you kind of like say, okay, this isn't for you right now, then they'll go, wait, what, like maybe I do want it. But I just like, you have this precious gift. And if someone doesn't see that at the moment, that's fine. I'm going to go offer this gift to someone else, and that's going to be an answer to prayer. So it's just, do I forget them and be like, you're off my list, you are on a different list for me? No, like it's how one of the girls that I think I'm going to get to sign up with me finally after probably a year of pursuit, she told me no the first couple times, and now we're here. And she posted a selfie with her pink drink. She's in like this 3-day thing that we're doing, and she is a challenge, and she's already got 2 people messaging her that she wants, hey, tell me how you like it. I've been like, I want to know, And so she's like, yeah. And so my prospect added 2 of her friends to our 3-day event. I'm like, add them, I'll help you, But she told me no, and she never went off my list. And you know what I did with her? Because I knew she'd be amazing. This is like, how do you handle the people? I actually starred her in my Facebook. So I made her a see first or a favorite, so that when she was active on Facebook, I was super intentional about engaging with her, knowing what was going on in her life, so that I was just being a friend on Facebook, because I knew that I want to prove to people too that your no is not going to say, all right, well, I don't have time for you in my life anymore. So I almost make an extra effort to like love on them, because I don't want them to think, well, I told her no, I'm not going to buy her products or join her team, so she doesn't have any time for me. Like, So I'm almost like turn it around, and I'm super intentional about to love on them more. But I still have this really extra special gift, and one day you're going to want some of it. And if you don't, that's fine too. I still love you. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so there are a couple more questions on here. One is, how big is your team now? Do you know the numbers?
Oh, I have no idea. I know it's so big that I can't pull the reports because it crashes my computer. I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I can't even imagine.
I think around total, like not like people who are inactive, white lines, all of it, I think it's probably around 500,000.
Yeah.
Based on what it was a while back.
That's amazing.
I think it's I think it may be like 120 or 150 kind of active.
Right.
Because
it's kind of hard to tell now because you can see something in the back. Like used to, you could see the total number in the back office, like in our one of the old back offices. And now you can see one, but I think that is more of the active one. But then when you pull the report, it's like the bigger number. So I had people ask me that question the other day. I was like, I think it's this. But anyways, but that's amazing. I mean, would you have ever thought 6 years ago that many people, that many lives, like you have been the vessel that has helped change that many lives? I mean, it's absolutely amazing.
I just pass the torch to amazing other people like all of you guys and you. And then it's like the candle, you know, you just take one candle.
Yeah.
And then you have this like stadium ablaze and
it's really cool.
It's
really cool. Okay, let me ask you. Okay, so and you kind of touched on this, but how do you find balance? Like she says, I struggle with this. I seem either to go full force plexus and neglect my duties at home, or go full for super mom wife and neglect my business. So do you have suggestions for that?
Yeah, it's hard, and I think there's going to be seasons. Like my husband knows, month end, I'm checked out. Like I will be kind of unavailable, and so that's an agreement we kind of have. Like he's going to have to carry more of the family torch. And I'm going to be staying up late, depending on what's going on for like a month end and people closing out, reaching for goals. So, but typically I time block and I have to stay really focused in the block that I'm working. And what's really hard, and I don't know, you know, if this would relate, but like my messages are coming in like nonstop. And I have to tune all of it out so that I can focus on what it is in that time block I'm supposed to be doing. And maybe it's IPA in that moment. Or maybe I'm working on some personal growth. Or maybe I'm focused on a special project that I'm working with my team. Or maybe it's corporate stuff. But whatever I've set aside that I need to do in this time block, I have to completely disengage all other distractions. Otherwise, you end up reacting to everyone else's urgent and you don't get your important done. So that has been my biggest, one of the biggest things I've had to learn, because I wasn't always good at this. My husband helped me a lot. And like, so if you've got mom, wife, kids, and you have to figure out, like, I have 1 hour. I can set aside 1 hour of focused time. You have to be rock solid, efficient, focused, without distractions in that hour. And otherwise, your hour to do the work that is important to move your business forward doesn't get done because you let Facebook Messenger and all these notifications creep in, or it might have to be done after all the kids go to bed, because that is when you can be focused. It looks different for everyone. Now, with Plexus Freedom and Blessings, my husband's home. He helps. I have help with the kids, with the house. I've been able to bring in someone to clean my house. These kind of things that I've been able to outsource, things that don't have to be me. Now I still want, I told my nanny, personal assistant, I'm like, I need you to take the things off my plate that don't have to be me. Now, sometimes you will have to help with the kids. That's just part of it. But like laundry, errands, all these things I've been able to do. And that isn't something that I had in the beginning. So I had to figure it out, and it was hard. And now I'm in a place where we can do that. And that's the Plexus Freedoms that's allowed me to do that, to have that help so that I can manage it all and still have some time for self-care, which is really important, and make sure I have the time with my kids that I want, because your business, your Plexus business, can seep into every part of your life if you allow it. But you have to set up the boundaries and the I can't think of the word, just the setup to, like, when is it going to be and what will I not let creep in. Another thing is like, sometimes it will help you with, like, just take this to the other room. I had an old boss that used to say, I'd get so worked up about something like, oh, the chairs aren't going to be delivered by a certain time. And oh my God. She's like, Jen, we are not saving lives. And I know that sometimes in Plexus, we are changing lives, but we are not saving lives. A message can wait. And if you are in mom zone with dinner and homework and putting your kids down, be in that zone. Your phone can be in the other room. That message can wait till later tonight or until tomorrow. So let yourself off the hook to not be everything to everybody all of the time. And when I did that for myself and I let myself off the hook that I couldn't be all of this to my team, then there was so much freedom in that. And when there was that, then I could let go and be fully present in the mom stuff. So it's not easy, but let yourself off the hook and try to just set aside that sacred time and be focused. I don't believe in multitasking. I know that some people, you might be like, oh, I don't believe in it. I think you can't do anything well when you're doing too many things. So what's the main thing that you have to do? Remove distractions, get it done, and you will be more efficient in that 1 hour than trying to do all the things you were trying to do in an hour throughout the entire span of a day with kids hanging on you and here and there and everywhere. So nooks and crannies, sure. When you're sitting and waiting for I've got to take my daughter to musical theater class tonight, and I will have an hour where I'm waiting on her. That is an hour to power work your business. Okay. So that's a nook. That's a cranny, 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. But get rid of the distractions. Now I'm talking in total circles and you're like, dang, is she ever going to stop talking?
No, it's so good. And boundaries are so huge. And I think that's one of the biggest challenge for all of us at whatever level we are, is setting those boundaries and setting those certain times that you do work your business and that you are a mom. And, 5 years ago, my kids were, 11, and the other one, I can't do the math because I'm like, I don't even know right now. He's 12, so 7. And now Luke's he'll be 16 next month, and Jake is 12. And I'm like, time's running out with them at home. And so I am trying really hard to set more boundaries and be more intentional with them. It's not always easy, and there's always times that, like end of the month craziness. But anyway, so thank you so much. This has been so absolutely amazing, and I appreciate you taking time to spend with us. And just thank you for like starting all of this. I mean, you've done amazing things, and thank you for sharing with us. So I hope you have a great day, guys.
Thanks for having me on. Thanks for carrying the torch.